Hey, how's it going? If you're here watching this, checking this out, thank you for viewing this and taking your time out. My name's Eric. I'm inside my small chassis shop that I do a lot of work in. I wanted to do an updated video on the last one that I put up explaining what was going to be happening to the car with only a few small things done to it. But let's turn the camera around and I'll show you guys what's going on. All right, so the car looks a little different from the last time I showed it. Last time there was a bunch of sheet metal still left in the car. The trans tunnel was still in the location. A bunch of the stuff in the back of the car was still in here. That's all cut out, cleaned up. I cleaned the frame rails up, capped the frame rails with some new sheet metal, and tied them back into the chassis. And where the floor pans were up in the front of the car, all the spot welds are taken out, cleaned up, and smoothed out. So when we put the new floor pans in the car, everything will look nice. There won't be any kind of spot welds laying around. No dirty areas. It'll all be nice and clean. After I get the engine and transmission in the car, we'll start the double frame rail, laying that out. We'll clean the firewall up the rest of the way. We'll cut the bell housing area out of the firewall, and then plate out to the mid plate mount and all that good stuff. Get all that set up, and then we'll start getting the rest of the driveline angles together. A bunch of stuff fabbed up. I'll finish the door bars, the whole back half. It's going to have a very nice back half structure in this car. Right now there's nothing back here, just a cross tube for location and just supporting some of the frame rails. And these frame rails are just basically going to be along for the ride. It's going to be a whole structure back here, ties into the back. There'll be a few little things to hold the quarter panels, and be some supports for the rear window and all that good stuff. But like you can see, all the inner quarter supports are cut out. Everything's cleaned up and deburred, and it's real light back here. It takes a lot of weight out of the car, taking all that crap out. There's a bunch of double stamped metal and all kinds of crap, all kinds of crap in here that that's not needed for a car like this. But getting this thing nice and light, this car will be pretty light, but it'll give them the option to keep the car and wait wherever he wants it, and put it around and help the car get out of the 60 a lot better. But then we're going to do the tube front. The tube front this will get taken off. This car was hitting the front end, so I already started cutting all that crap out to make some room for the front half of the cage. But it's going to come out here. It's going to cut into the strut tower a little more and tie back into the frame rail. The frame rails will be capped, cleaned up. All that crap will be fixed and cleaned up, and we'll do a removable front clip on this. So after the termination, there'll be some attachment points to where the whole lower half of the tube front will be able to remove if he ever has to change the setup, if he ever wants to update anything, make more room for something. We'll get it set up for what he currently has, and then who knows what the car will evolve into later. But this car is going to be a dual cert 25.2, 25.3, and it will he wants it to be X legal, so we have the stock frame rails in it. But this car is going to start out as a no time car, I believe. And we'll see what happens with his progress and his classes from there. But it's coming along really nice. Got a bunch of hours. I didn't show too much on the cut up process. I just showed, like I said, some areas in the floor that were taken out and everything. Maybe one of these days I'll do a video on how I cut a car up or something. But the halo is really nice and spherical. All of the bars are right in plane with each other, very level. Driver's going to sit back in the car, obviously more than usual, but it's going to be it's going to be nice. He'll have plenty of room to get out of it. God forbid anything happens. It just gives you so much more room sitting the driver back and extending everything out. This is the progress we got. There's Marty's upper control arms, upper control arm mounts in the car. I got my custom lower boxes, my universal boxes in the bottom here. This will get trimmed up a little more on the bottom on the adapter plate, and then there'll be a little piece underneath that molds it into the frame rail real nicely, and then all this crap in here will get cleaned up and capped off and made real pretty. So, you know, had to redo the mini tub work, or the frame rail narrowing on this car. It was all leaned out. It would have never, if you ever want to put a 315 on this car, it would have never worked. But we cleaned the frame rails up as much as we can. There's a little pitting in the factory frame rails, but everything's, you know, everything's extremely solid. I mean, there's nothing popping through on these things, but it just makes it nice for when it goes to paint. Everything looks really good and looks like looks like it should, like a brand new car when it's all finished up. All right. Once all that's lined up, I might make some more videos on, you know, the double frame rail and how that ties in and lays out. And then when all that's done, I'll have a whole tin work, you know, project in the back of this car. I'll be custom making both the tubs, fitting all the tin work, making it nice and sound, and it'll be nice and sealed up so no smoke gets in the car, at least extremely minimal amounts of smoke. Excuse my camera performance. I'm not a professional with a camera by any means. I'm just doing this for informational purposes. If anybody wants to see what a 25.2 or 25.3 looks like, that doesn't know, you know, what they're getting into or what it's going to be like when they start doing something like this, this is it. You can do it with the floor pans in the car. The floor pans in this car were garbage, so we opted to cut them out and do everything nice and fresh with new factory floor pans. And you know, we're doing a double frame rail anyway, so we were cutting so much out of it, there was no point in keeping dirty floor pans in the car. And I do a lot of cars. I build a lot of cars, and this small little shop does a lot of work, and that's all I need. I don't need anything huge. I'm able to do what I'm able to do in here, and it works out. So if anybody is interested in any more videos, like I said, I might make some videos on process, on how I fab this stuff up, how I make things level. Maybe I'll make some videos on how I do notches on bends and curves and real close like that. And I'm not a talker, I'm more of a doer, but I figured I'd share some content for people that were interested. Maybe there's another thing I might be sharing something on. It's this 8.8 that we just got dropped off to get fabbed up. This thing's got some old dirty work on it. The coilover brackets are a little crooked. It's got the racecraft adapter lowers on it, but they had to be notched up for a wheel clearance. I guess there was a wheel clearance issue on this. But I'm gonna put my my lower control arm mounts that I make on here. I'll put my coilover brackets on here. We'll probably end up having to cut the ends off and, you know, maybe taking a little bit out of it if we have to. The rear's already narrowed, but we got a little bit of play in the axle splines, so might end up making sure everything's nice and square and clean. But I'll make a video on how I jig this up and how I clean it up and how I lay everything out and go from there. Maybe I'll do some welding process videos on these cars and everything. If you want to see more pictures, you could always check out my Instagram page. It's the Fabricator 1229. I'm a little lazy with posting on social media, but there's a good bit of videos, or not videos, I'm sorry, there's a good bit of pictures on there of some of the work, some of the weld quality and stuff that people get. There's Brian Freezy's cars on there. His car just got finished up not too long ago. It was painted, left out complete, basically ready for wire and his drivetrain. And there's a bunch of other stuff on there. So if you're interested in this, like and subscribe. Maybe I'll practice on my my video quality and, you know, go from there and see how all this works out. If you're tuning in, thank you very much for checking this out, and take care.